He stands as a titan in the pantheon of gaming legends, a figure etched in the minds of millions, not for his benevolence but for his raw, unbridled fury. Kratos, the ghost of Sparta, the slayer of gods, needs no introduction. His name alone evokes images of epic battles, colossal creatures, and a quest for vengeance that shook the very foundations of the ancient world. Kratos' story is not one of a hero cloaked in shining armor. It's a brutal, unflinching tale of a warrior grappling with the consequences of his actions, the weight of his past sins, and the relentless pursuit of redemption. His journey, spanning across two distinct mythological worlds, has captivated gamers for over 2 decades. His legend has been forged in the fires of betrayal, loss, and an insatiable rage that consumed him for years. Yet beneath the fury lies a story of transformation, a testament to the power of change and the enduring strength of a father's love. Kratos' impact on the gaming industry is undeniable. He is more than just a character, he's an icon. His story, told through groundbreaking gameplay, stunning visuals, and emotionally charged narratives, has redefined action-adventure gaming. From his early days battling the gods of Olympus to his recent adventures in the unforgiving landscapes of the Norse realms, Kratos has left an enduring mark on gaming history. This is the complete story of Kratos, the god of war. Kratos' story takes root in the blood-soaked battlefields of ancient Greece. Born into the Spartan army, he was raised with a single purpose: to be a weapon of war. Discipline was harsh, training brutal, and victory the only acceptable outcome. Kratos excelled, rising through the ranks with unmatched ferocity and an unyielding desire to conquer. His prowess as a warrior caught the attention of Ares, the Greek god of war. Ares, ever eager to spread chaos and destruction, saw potential in Kratos' ambition, and offered him a path to even greater power. Blinded by his desire for victory, Kratos accepted Ares' offer, pledging his allegiance to the god in exchange for the strength to crush his enemies. Ares bestowed upon Kratos the Blades of Chaos, twin chains seared into his flesh, forever binding him to the god's will. With these deadly weapons, Kratos became an unstoppable force, laying waste to entire armies and spreading fear throughout the land. Yet his pact with Ares came at a steep price, one that would forever haunt him. Manipulated by Ares' influence, Kratos committed an act of unspeakable horror. In a blind rage, he slaughtered his own family, believing them to be enemies in the heat of battle. This unforgivable act shattered Kratos, leaving him a broken man, his skin forever stained white with the ashes of his wife and child. The guilt and horror of his actions were unbearable. Kratos, once a proud warrior, became a shell of his former self, known only as the ghost of Sparta. He was bound to Ares, forced to do his bidding, forever haunted by the memories of those he loved and murdered. Despite his torment, a glimmer of hope remained. Kratos yearned to break free from Ares' control and find solace from the nightmares that plagued him. This yearning for redemption would set him on a collision course with the very gods he once served, leading to a bloody and brutal quest for vengeance against those who had cursed him with such a horrific fate. Kratos' journey is one of 2 distinct chapters, each set against the backdrop of a different mythology. The first part of his tale unfolds in the world of ancient Greece, a land brimming with gods, monsters, and legendary heroes. It's a story of betrayal, wrath, and the catastrophic consequences of unchecked power. We witness Kratos' rise as a Spartan warrior, his tragic fall from grace, and his bloody quest for vengeance against the Olympian gods who wronged him. He battles mythical beasts, navigates treacherous labyrinths, and confronts the very deities who once held dominion over his fate. His journey through Greek mythology culminates in a cataclysmic confrontation that leaves the Olympian pantheon shattered. Yet even with the gods of his past vanquished, Kratos finds no peace. He is left a broken man, burdened by the weight of his actions, forever haunted by the memories of those he has lost. Seeking solace and a chance to escape his past, Kratos abandons the world of his birth and ventures north to the land of Midgard. Here, in the harsh, unforgiving realm of Norse mythology, Kratos begins a new chapter in his life. He seeks to bury his past, to control the rage that has defined him for so long, and to forge a new path as a father to his young son Atreus. The Norse saga marks a significant shift in Kratos' journey. It's a story of growth, of learning to control his rage, and of finding love and purpose in the most unexpected of places. Yet, even in this new land, the sins of the past cast a long shadow. Kratos soon finds himself caught in the crosshairs of gods and monsters, his past threatening to consume both him and his son. Kratos' journey through the Norse realms is a testament to the enduring power of family, the struggle against fate, and the possibility of redemption, even for someone who believes himself beyond saving. It's a thrilling and emotional journey that explores the depths of fatherhood, the consequences of past actions, and the challenges of breaking free from the shackles of destiny. The fires of Olympus had long since been extinguished, leaving behind a trail of ash and the hollow echo of fallen gods. Kratos, the once mighty god of war, stood amidst the ruins of a world he himself had broken. The ashes of his victory were bitter on his tongue, offering no solace, no absolution for the sins that stained his soul. Greece lay in ruins, a testament to his rage, a constant reminder of the devastating power he wielded and the terrible price it exacted. His journey through the underworld had shown him the depths of his own darkness, the monstrous reflection of the rage that consumed him. He had seen the fear in the eyes of gods, felt the earth tremble beneath his wrath, and tasted the emptiness of vengeance that left him hollow and broken. Greece held nothing but painful memories, the ghosts of his past lingering like shadows in the wind. Guided by an unseen force, an ember of hope flickering in the desolate wasteland of his heart, Kratos ventured east. He journeyed for years, traversing treacherous landscapes and leaving a trail of forgotten battles in his wake. The whispers of his past followed him like the howling wind, a constant reminder of the sins he could not outrun. He sought not forgiveness, for he believed himself beyond redemption, but oblivion, a chance to silence the deafening chorus of his past deeds. The journey was long and arduous, marked by storms and skirmishes against creatures both foul and fearsome. He fought with the cold precision of a weapon honed by countless battles, his movements a brutal ballet of death. Yet his heart was no longer in the fight. He carried the weight of his past like a heavy cloak, his spirit as weathered and scarred as his battle-worn body. Finally, after what felt like an eternity lost at sea, a new land emerged from the mist. Towering mountains pierced the clouds, their peaks shrouded in snow and secrets. Dense, ancient forests stretched as far as the eye could see, whispering tales of forgotten gods and primal forces. This was Midgard, a realm steeped in ancient magic, where the air crackled with raw power, and the echo of an ancient conflict resonated in the very bones of the earth. This was not the land of his birth, not the world he had known and shattered. This was a new beginning, a chance to bury the ghost of Sparta beneath the weight of his past, and embrace the silence of anonymity. Little did he know that his arrival in Midgard was not a matter of chance, but fate, a thread woven into the tapestry of a destiny far grander and more terrifying than he could have ever imagined. As Kratos delved deeper into the untamed wilds of Midgard, he began to sense the presence of powerful, unseen forces. The air hummed with a primal energy, different from the volatile power of the Olympian gods, but no less potent. The whispers on the wind spoke of a new pantheon, gods and goddesses who ruled these realms with an iron fist. There was Odin, the Allfather, a cunning and ruthless deity who sought knowledge above all else. His ravens, Hugin and Munin, served as his eyes and ears, watching over the 9 realms and whispering secrets into his ear. Thor, the god of thunder, was a force of nature, his mighty hammer, Mjolnir, capable of leveling mountains and shaking the very foundations of the world. Freya, the Vanir goddess of love, beauty, and magic, was both revered and feared for her knowledge of Satyr, a powerful and ancient form of magic. And then there was Baldur, Odin's favored son, a god whose beauty was said to rival the sun itself, but whose heart was shrouded in darkness. These were not the gods of his past, those petty and vengeful deities who squabbled amongst themselves for power. These were ancient beings, their roots buried deep within the fabric of creation, their powers fueled by the lifeblood of Yggdrasil, the world tree that connected all 9 realms. Kratos, weary of gods and their machinations, wanted no part in their affairs. He had tasted the emptiness of vengeance, felt the corrosive touch of power, and knew that the path of a god only ever led to ruin. He sought peace, a chance to bury his past and live out his days in anonymity. But fate, it seemed, had other plans for the ghost of Sparta. The whispers on the wind grew stronger, the threads of destiny pulling him inexorably towards a confrontation he could not avoid. The Norse gods were players in a grand cosmic game, one that spanned millennia and threatened to consume all of creation. And Kratos, whether he liked it or not, had just become a pawn in their deadly game. Midgard, the realm of men, was but one thread in the intricate tapestry of the Norse cosmos. It was a land where myth and reality intertwined, where the echoes of ancient battles lingered in the air, and where the boundaries between the realms were thin and easily breached. Giants, once the undisputed rulers of the realms, still roamed the frozen wastelands and mountainous peaks. Their ancient feud with the Aesir gods had left scars upon the land, their colossal forms forever etched into the mountains and valleys. Some were benevolent, protectors of nature and keepers of ancient wisdom. Others were vengeful, their hearts filled with a bitterness that echoed through the ages. The forest teemed with creatures of myth and legend. Trolls, hulking brutes with a taste for human flesh, stalked the shadows, their roars echoing through the trees. Draugr, undead warriors animated by a thirst for battle, rose from their burial mounds, their eyes burning with an eerie blue light. And in the deepest, darkest corners of the realms lurked creatures of nightmare, beings of pure chaos and malice that even the gods feared. Kratos, a seasoned warrior who had faced down hydras and titans, found himself challenged anew by the ferocity and strangeness of these Norse beasts. They were unlike anything he had encountered before, their powers drawn from the raw energy of the realms, their forms sculpted by ancient magic. Yet these creatures were but symptoms of a deeper malaise, a sickness that infected the very heart of the realms. The balance of power was shifting, the old ways crumbling. Ragnarok, the twilight of the gods, loomed large, a cataclysmic prophecy that foretold the end of all things. Kratos, seeking only peace and anonymity, found himself drawn further into this maelstrom. He could not escape the whispers of prophecy, the feeling that his destiny was irrevocably bound to this land and its inhabitants. The past, it seemed, had a way of catching up, no matter how far one ran or how desperately one tried to bury it. Yggdrasil, the world tree, stood at the center of the Norse cosmos, its branches reaching out to connect the 9 realms. It was the source of all life and magic, its roots anchored deep within the primordial well of Urd, where the Norns, the weavers of fate, resided. Protecting the sacred tree were powerful guardians, beings of immense strength and ancient wisdom. Jormungandr, the world serpent, so large its body encircled Midgard, slumbered beneath the waves, its awakening a harbinger of Ragnarok. Ratatoskr, the squirrel, scurried up and down Yggdrasil's trunk, carrying messages and gossip between the realms, its chatter a constant reminder of the interconnectedness of all things. And then there were the Valkyries, Odin's elite warriors, tasked with ferrying the souls of fallen heroes to Valhalla, the Hall of the Slain. Clad in shining armor and wielding fearsome magic, they were a force to be reckoned with. their loyalty to the All-Father Absolute. These guardians, each in their own way, maintained the delicate balance of the realms. They were the protectors of Yggdrasil, ensuring that the tree's lifeblood continued to flow, nourishing the 9 realms and holding chaos at bay. Kratos, with his history of defying gods and shattering destinies, was wary of these guardians. He recognized their power, the ancient magic that thrummed beneath their skin. He had no desire to court their attention, to become entangled in their duties or incur their wrath. Yet he could not shake the feeling that their paths were destined to cross. The prophecy of Ragnarok, the whispers of fate, hung over him like a shroud, a constant reminder that he was not just a warrior seeking peace, but a player in a game far grander and more dangerous than he could have ever imagined. Section 5. Faye, the woman who changed everything. In the heart of Midgard's untamed wilds, amidst the towering trees and whispering winds, Kratos had found solace, or at least a semblance of it. He had built a life with Faye, a strong, independent woman who saw beyond the rage that burned within him, who looked past the blood-stained armor and saw the flicker of humanity that still lingered in his soul. Faye, whose true name remained a mystery, a secret whispered on the wind, was unlike any woman Kratos had ever known. She was a warrior in her own right, skilled in both combat and the ancient magic of the realms. She moved with the grace of a predator, her eyes reflecting the wisdom of the ancient forest she called home. She taught him the ways of this new world, introducing him to the spirits of the land, the hidden pathways through the realms, and the delicate balance that held chaos at bay. She saw the good in him, the potential for redemption that lay dormant beneath the layers of rage and guilt. Their love was a quiet storm, a tempestuous blend of passion and understanding. She challenged him, pushed him to confront the demons that haunted him, and reminded him that even a god could find peace. With her, he built a home, a sanctuary away from the chaos that had defined his life. Together they brought a son into the world, a boy named Atreus. In Atreus, Kratos saw a chance to break the cycle of violence that had plagued his lineage, to be a different kind of father, one who guided with love instead of fear. But Faye's time in Midgard was tragically cut short. Her death, shrouded in mystery, left Kratos reeling, his heart heavy with grief. He was left to raise their son alone, guided by the lessons she had imparted and the memory of her love. Little did he know that Faye's legacy extended far beyond the life they had built together. She was a woman of secrets, her past intertwined with the fate of gods and the ancient prophecies that governed the realms. Her death was not the end, but the beginning of a new chapter, one that would draw Kratos and Atreus into the heart of a conflict that threatened to consume all of creation. Section 6. Atreus, Legacy of the Giants. Atreus, Kratos' son, was a child of 2 worlds, his bloodline a tapestry woven from the threads of both Greek and Norse mythology. Born in the wilds of Midgard, he possessed an inherent connection to the land, his senses attuned to the whispers of the ancient forests and the secrets they held. From Kratos, he inherited a warrior's spirit, a fierce determination that belied his young age. He trained tirelessly, eager to prove himself to his father, to earn his respect and perhaps to understand the darkness that lingered beneath Kratos' stoic exterior. He was quick-witted and compassionate, his youthful idealism a stark contrast to his father's cynicism. Atreus possessed a natural affinity for languages, quickly mastering the ancient tongues of the realms. He could speak with the spirits of the forest, decipher the runes etched into ancient stones, and understand the whispers of the wind that carried secrets from distant lands. What Kratos initially perceived as weakness, Atreus' compassion, his empathy for the creatures of the realms, was in fact a source of great strength. Atreus possessed a connection to the world around him that Kratos had long since forgotten, a connection that allowed him to see the good in others, even in the face of darkness. However, Atreus carried a burden he did not fully understand. His lineage, his very existence, was intertwined with the ancient prophecies of the realms. He was a child of destiny, fated to play a pivotal role in the events to come. As Atreus grew, so too did his powers. He discovered he possessed abilities beyond those of mortal men, abilities that hinted at his true nature and the legacy he carried within his blood. The journey ahead would test him in ways he could not yet imagine, forcing him to confront not only the dangers of the realms but also the darkness that resided within his own heart. Section 1. A father and son's journey begins. The death of Faye, Kratos' beloved wife and Atreus' mother, hung over their small cabin in the woods like a shroud. Her passing was a wound still fresh, a raw ache in Kratos' heart that he kept buried beneath a stoic facade. Faye, a woman of quiet strength and ancient wisdom, had been the anchor in his turbulent life, the one who had taught him to temper his rage and embrace the possibility of peace. Her final wish was simple, yet fraught with unknown dangers: to have her ashes scattered from the highest peak in all the realms. It was a journey fraught with peril, one that Kratos, despite his warrior's instincts, was hesitant to undertake. He had hoped to shield Atreus from the violence and chaos that seemed to follow him like a shadow, to provide him with a childhood free from the burdens of his lineage. Atreus, young and eager to prove himself to his father, was determined to honor his mother's final request. He yearned for adventure, for a chance to step outside the confines of their secluded life and explore the wider world that beckoned beyond the familiar forests. He sensed the depth of his father's grief, the unspoken pain that lingered beneath his gruff exterior, and hoped that by embarking on this journey together, they could find solace in each other's company. With a heavy heart and a sense of foreboding, Kratos agreed to fulfill Faye's dying wish. He knew that their journey would be fraught with danger, that the realms held both wonders and terrors beyond imagination. But he also recognized the importance of honoring his wife's memory, of sharing this final act of love with the son they had brought into the world together. And so, armed with Leviathan, his trusty axe imbued with the icy fury of the north, and the blades of chaos, a haunting reminder of his past sins, Kratos set out with Atreus into the vast and unforgiving wilds of Midgard, unaware that their journey would irrevocably alter the fate of the realms. Their journey began peacefully enough. They traversed snow-covered forests, navigated treacherous mountain passes, and encountered the creatures of Norse legend, some benevolent, others intent on adding their bones to the frost-covered ground. Kratos, despite his reservations, found a quiet satisfaction in teaching Atreus the ways of survival, passing on the skills he had honed over centuries of warfare. But their solitude was shattered on the third day, when a stranger arrived at their doorstep. He appeared as if from thin air, a tall, muscular figure with piercing blue eyes and a disarming smile that did little to hide the air of menace that clung to him. The stranger possessed an uncanny awareness of Kratos, seeming to know his true nature, the godhood he had tried so desperately to bury. He spoke of Kratos' past deeds, of the gods he had slain, and of the darkness that he sensed lurking beneath his carefully constructed facade of peace. Kratos, his instincts screaming at him to unleash the fury that simmered beneath his skin, held himself in check. He had promised Faye that he would control his rage, that he would not allow the mistakes of his past to poison his present. But the stranger's presence was like a spark to dry tinder, threatening to ignite the inferno that raged within. Atreus, sensing his father's unease, stood by his side, his bow drawn, an arrow nocked and aimed at the stranger's heart. He had never seen his father so unsettled, so wary of another being. It was clear to the boy that this was no ordinary visitor, but something ancient and powerful, something that threatened the fragile peace they had built. The stranger, seemingly unfazed by their hostility, laughed, a sound that echoed through the trees like a challenge. He introduced himself as Baldur, son of Odin, and declared that he had been sent to test their strength. A shadow fell over the clearing as Baldur's words hung in the air, a promise of violence that would forever alter the course of their journey. The battle with Baldur was swift and brutal. The god, imbued with a strength that belied his jovial demeanor, fought with a reckless abandon, his blows carrying the weight of thunder. Kratos, his rage ignited by Baldur's intrusion and the casual mention of his past, fought back with a ferocity that terrified even Atreus. For the first time since arriving in Midgard, Kratos unleashed the full extent of his power. He fought like a demon unleashed, his movements a blur of blades and brute force. The forest floor cracked beneath his feet, trees splintered and fell, and the air crackled with the raw energy of his godhood. Atreus, caught in the whirlwind of violence, could only watch in horror as his father, the man who had taught him to hunt deer and carve runes, transformed into something primal and terrifying. The rage that Kratos had kept so tightly leashed had broken free, and in that moment, Atreus saw a glimpse of the monster that lurked beneath his father's stoic exterior. The battle raged, a storm of divine fury that shook the very foundations of Midgard. But throughout the clash, one crucial detail remained hidden from Kratos, a secret that Baldur, in his arrogance, had failed to notice. Atreus, overwhelmed by the sight of his father's berserker rage, collapsed to his knees, a strange sickness washing over him. Unbeknownst to Kratos, Atreus was not just a boy touched by the divine, he was a god in his own right. And the sickness that racked his young body was not a consequence of fear or exhaustion, but the first manifestation of his latent power, a power that would soon draw them all into a conflict far greater than they could have ever imagined. The battle with Baldur, though inconclusive, left its mark on both Kratos and Atreus. Kratos, shaken by the ferocity of his own rage and the toll it had taken on his son, retreated further into himself, his silence heavier than ever. Atreus, plagued by nightmares and the lingering effects of his mysterious illness, grew increasingly withdrawn, his usual exuberance replaced by a brooding silence. Seeking answers to Atreus's condition, and a way to fulfill Faye's final request, Kratos and Atreus ventured deeper into the wilds of Midgard. Their journey led them to the shores of a vast lake, its surface shrouded in an ethereal mist that seemed to whisper of forgotten secrets. As they navigated the still waters, a colossal form stirred beneath them, sending ripples across the lake's surface. The head of a serpent, larger than any creature Kratos had ever encountered, rose from the depths, its eyes burning with ancient wisdom. This was Jormungandr, the world's serpent, one of the most ancient and powerful beings in all the realms. Kratos, wary of the serpent's power and the unpredictable nature of such creatures, prepared for battle, his hand gripping Leviathan's handle. But Atreus, to Kratos' surprise, did not cower in fear. He reached out towards the serpent, his hand trembling but resolute. To Kratos' astonishment, Jormungandr responded in kind, its massive head lowering until it was eye level with the young boy. A low rumble, more felt than heard, resonated through the air as the serpent spoke, its voice ancient and powerful. Jormungandr, it seemed, knew of Atreus' true nature, of the role he was destined to play in the events to come. The serpent spoke of prophecies, of a coming war that would engulf the realms, and of a father and son bound together by fate. Kratos listened, his skepticism warring with a growing sense of dread, as Jormungandr's words painted a grim picture of their future, a future inextricably linked to the unfolding drama of the Norse gods. Their encounter with the world serpent left Kratos unsettled, the prophecies echoing in his mind like a curse. He had come to Midgard seeking peace, a chance to escape the cyclical violence that had plagued his life for centuries. But fate, it seemed, had other plans for him. Their journey led them deeper into Midgard's wilds, to a hidden realm brimming with life and magic. Here, amidst the towering trees and sparkling waterfalls, they encountered Freya, the Vanir goddess of love, beauty, and magic. Freya, once a revered member of the Aesir, was now an outcast, banished from Asgard by Odin himself. Despite her own troubles, Freya offered them aid, sensing the turmoil that raged within both father and son. She recognized the sickness that plagued Atreus, the conflicting energies of his divine heritage warring within him. Using her knowledge of Seder, a powerful and ancient form of magic, Freya healed Atreus, easing his pain and restoring his vitality. But her act of kindness came with a heavy heart. Freya too was bound by the chains of fate, her life a tapestry woven with threads of love, loss, and a thirst for vengeance. She revealed to Kratos the true nature of Baldur's immunity, a gift from his mother Frigg that had come at a terrible price. The ability to feel, to experience the world in all its beauty and pain, had been stripped from him. Freya's story resonated with Kratos, awakening a flicker of empathy for the god who had attacked them. He saw in Baldur a reflection of his own rage, a being consumed by a pain that he could not comprehend, a pain that had twisted him into something monstrous. But he also recognized the depth of Freya's love for her son, a love that transcended even the most grievous of betrayals. Freya's plea, whispered with a mother's heartbreak, was simple, yet heavy with the weight of unspoken consequences. Spare Baldur, and let her handle her son's fate. Kratos, caught between his desire to protect his son and the weight of Freya's request, was left with a choice: to perpetuate the cycle of violence that had haunted his life for centuries, or to break free from the shackles of the past and forge a new path, one guided by empathy and understanding. Their encounter with Freya left Kratos deeply troubled. He recognized the echoes of his own past in Baldur's rage, the way that pain and loss could twist even the most noble of hearts. Yet, he also knew that Baldur, driven by an obsession with fulfilling his own twisted destiny, posed a significant threat to both him and Atreus. Their journey to fulfill Faye's final wish led them to Jotunheim, the realm of the giants, a land shrouded in myth and mystery. It was a perilous journey, one that tested their strength and resolve. But their arrival in Jotunheim was not met with the warm welcome Kratos had hoped for. Baldur, having tracked them across the realms, lay in wait, his rage at their previous encounter amplified by his desperation to fulfill the prophecy he believed defined his existence. He confronted Kratos and Atreus amidst the ruins of a fallen civilization, the remnants of a war that had raged between gods and giants millennia ago. The battle that ensued was unlike any they had faced before. Baldur, his senses dulled by Frigg's spell, fought with a reckless abandon, his blows carrying the weight of his anguish. Kratos, torn between his desire to protect Atreus and Freya's plea for mercy, fought with a restrained fury, seeking to subdue rather than kill. Atreus, caught between his father's teachings and the escalating violence, struggled to reconcile the compassionate lessons of his mother with the brutal reality of their situation. He witnessed firsthand the cyclical nature of revenge, the way that pain begat pain, and violence only ever led to more suffering. The battle raged, a chaotic dance of blades and fury, until a single desperate act shattered the stalemate and revealed the tragic truth of Baldur's existence. The battle with Baldur reached its crescendo amidst the ruins of Jotunheim. Kratos, despite his best efforts, found himself backed into a corner, his strength waning against Baldur's relentless assault. Atreus, desperate to protect his father, unleashed a torrent of his own power, a raw, untamed energy that surprised even Kratos. In that moment of chaos, as Baldur struggled to regain his footing, a single arrow, its shaft carved from mistletoe, found its mark. The arrow, a gift from Freya, pierced Baldur's chest, shattering the spell that had protected him for so long. The effect was instantaneous. Feeling flooded back into Baldur's body, a torrent of sensations he had been denied for centuries. But instead of the joy Freya had hoped for, Baldur was overwhelmed by the sheer intensity of it all. The years of suppressed pain, the emptiness of his existence, and the rage that had festered within him, all came crashing down at once. Kratos, sensing an opportunity to end the fight, moved to deliver the final blow. But Atreus, his compassion overriding his fear, begged his father to stop. He saw in Baldur's eyes not malice but a profound sadness, a reflection of the pain they both carried. Kratos, torn between his protective instincts and his son's plea, hesitated. It was in that moment of indecision that Baldur, driven to madness by the sudden onslaught of emotions, lashed out, striking a fatal blow against Freya, who had thrown herself into the fray to protect her son. The world seemed to fall silent as Freya cradled Baldur's lifeless body in her arms, her grief a tangible presence that hung heavy in the air. Kratos, his heart aching with a familiar pain, knew that there were no words that could mend what had been broken. He had failed to break the cycle of violence, and now another life had been lost, another mother forced to bury her child. Amidst the grief and the recriminations, a chilling truth was revealed. As Freya swore vengeance against Kratos and Atreus, she uttered a single word that sent a shiver down Kratos' spine. Loki. Atreus, his face pale with shock, turned to his father, his eyes filled with questions. It was then that Kratos, unable to bear the weight of his secrets any longer, revealed the truth of their lineage, the truth that Atreus was not just a demigod, but the embodiment of Loki, the Norse god of trickery and deceit. The revelation shattered the fragile peace they had built. Atreus, his sense of self shaken to its core, grappled with the implications of his true nature. He was both horrified and strangely empowered by the knowledge, his destiny intertwined with the fate of gods and the coming war that threatened to consume all the realms. Kratos, burdened by the knowledge of his son's true identity and the role he was destined to play in the coming chaos, was left to grapple with the consequences of their actions. He had brought his son to Midgard seeking peace, a chance to escape the shadow of his past. But he had only succeeded in delivering them both into the heart of a conflict far greater than he could have ever imagined. The journey to fulfill Faye's final wish had opened Pandora's box, unleashing a torrent of secrets and setting in motion a chain of events that would irrevocably alter the fate of the realms. The war to come was no longer a distant threat but a looming storm, and Kratos and Atreus, father and son, god and trickster, were caught directly in its path. The revelation of Atreus's true identity hung heavy in the air, a storm cloud casting a shadow over their hard-won peace. The journey to Jotunheim had shattered the illusion of normalcy, leaving Kratos grappling with the knowledge of his son's destiny as Loki, the harbinger of Ragnarok. Gone was the naivete of their early adventures, the simple joy of a father teaching his son to hunt and survive. In its place was a chilling awareness of the forces at play, the cosmic machinery grinding towards a preordained conclusion. Faye's death, once the driving force behind their journey, now felt like a distant echo, overshadowed by the looming threat of Ragnarok. The world itself seemed to reflect their turmoil. A biting wind howled through the trees, heralding the arrival of Fimbulwinter, the great winter that preceded the end of days. Snow fell in heavy sheets, blanketing the realm in an oppressive silence that amplified the tension crackling between father and son. Kratos, ever the pragmatist, knew that dwelling on the prophecy would solve nothing. He had spent centuries raging against fate, only to find himself bound more tightly to its threads. This time he resolved to face the coming storm head-on, to prepare Atreus for the trials ahead and, if possible, to find a way to defy the destiny that seemed preordained. Atreus, however, was consumed by his newfound identity. The revelation of his godhood, coupled with the knowledge of his role in Ragnarok, had awakened something within him, a potent mix of fear, excitement, and a yearning to understand the forces that shaped his destiny. He devoured the stories and legends, seeking clues to his nature and the path that lay before him. He practiced his combat skills with a newfound intensity, honing his archery and exploring the magical abilities that coursed through his veins. The once unbreakable bond between father and son had become strained, a rope stretched taut over an abyss of uncertainty. Kratos struggled to reconcile the image of his young son with the prophecy of the cunning trickster god. Atreus, meanwhile, grappled with the weight of expectations, both those thrust upon him by fate, and those implied by his father's guarded silence. The long winter had settled over Midgard, but for Kratos and Atreus it was less a time of rest and more a period of uneasy anticipation, the calm before the storm that threatened to shatter their world. Section 2. A house divided, father and son at odds. The weight of unspoken words and simmering resentment hung heavy in the air, a suffocating presence as tangible as the biting winter wind. Kratos, haunted by memories of his own past sins and the devastating consequences of unchecked rage, retreated further into himself, building walls of silence around his heart. He feared for Atreus, for the path that fate had laid before him, and most of all, for the darkness that he saw reflected in his son's eyes, a darkness that mirrored his own. He trained Atreus relentlessly, pushing him to master the art of combat, to hone his skills with both blade and bow. He saw it as a necessary cruelty, a way to prepare his son for the trials ahead, to equip him with the tools of survival in a world on the brink of chaos. But each lesson felt like a double-edged sword, sharpening Atreus's skills while simultaneously widening the gulf between them. Atreus, once eager to please his father, now met his teachings with a sullen silence or worse, open defiance. He chafed against Kratos' stoicism, his every attempt to draw out his father's emotions met with a wall of stone. He felt betrayed, not only by the revelation of his true nature, but also by Kratos' refusal to share the burden of their shared destiny. The once playful banter that had characterized their early adventures was replaced by a tense silence, punctuated by barbed words and bitter accusations. Kratos, haunted by the fear of becoming his father, of perpetuating the cycle of violence that had plagued his lineage for generations, struggled to express his love and concern, his words twisted by his own internal demons. Atreus, starved for his father's approval and desperate for answers Kratos seemed unwilling to give, lashed out, his words fueled by a potent mix of adolescent angst and the burgeoning power that coursed through his veins. Their once unbreakable bond, forged in the fires of shared adventure and mutual respect, had become fractured, a fragile bridge threatening to crumble beneath the weight of their unspoken pain. Section 1. A God's Evolution, From Rage to Redemption. Kratos' journey is a sprawling epic, a tapestry woven from the threads of Greek and Norse mythology, stained with the blood of gods and monsters. He begins as a figure consumed by rage, a weapon forged in the fires of betrayal and loss. His quest for vengeance against the Olympian gods who wronged him leaves a trail of shattered marble and divine blood across the ancient world. Yet through the carnage, we witness the slow, agonizing evolution of a god grappling with the consequences of his actions. His arrival in Midgard, the realm of men, marks a turning point. No longer a god among gods, Kratos seeks anonymity, a chance to bury his past beneath the weight of his sins. But fate, it seems, has other plans. He finds love with Faye, a woman who sees past the rage to the flicker of humanity within. He experiences the profound love of a father for his son, Atreus. These relationships, these glimpses of warmth and connection, chip away at the hardened shell he has built around his heart, forcing him to confront the possibility of a different path. His journey through the Norse realms is fraught with peril, a constant battle against both external threats and his own internal demons. He faces down monstrous creatures, cunning gods, and the ever-present shadow of his past. But through these trials we see him wrestling with his rage, seeking to control the beast within and forge a new path for himself and his son. The revelation of Atreus' true nature as Loki, the harbinger of Ragnarok, tests Kratos' resolve like never before. He is forced to confront the possibility that his son, the embodiment of his hopes for a better future, may be destined to bring about the end of days. Yet even in the face of this devastating prophecy, Kratos refuses to give in to despair. He fights to protect his son, to guide him towards a different path, one where choice triumphs over destiny. He learns to control his rage, to channel it into a force for good, and to embrace the compassion and empathy that he once shunned as weaknesses. Section 2. The enduring power of family, breaking the cycle. At the heart of Kratos' transformation lies the enduring power of family. His relationship with Atreus is the emotional core of his journey, a complex and often tumultuous bond that mirrors his own fraught relationship with his father Zeus. Haunted by the sins of his past, Kratos strives to break the cycle of violence that has plagued his lineage for generations. He teaches Atreus the art of combat, not to instill a love of violence but to equip him with the tools of survival in a dangerous world. He imparts wisdom gleaned from centuries of experience, both bitter and sweet. He struggles to express his love and concern, his words often clumsy and inadequate, but his actions speak volumes. Atreus, in turn, challenges Kratos' worldview, forcing him to confront the darkness that still lingers within, and to embrace the possibility of redemption. He reminds Kratos of the importance of compassion, of seeing the world through the eyes of a child not yet jaded by the cruelty of gods and monsters. Their journey is fraught with disagreements, moments of anger and resentment that threaten to tear them apart. Yet, through it all, their love for each other endures, a beacon of hope in a world teetering on the brink of destruction. Kratos' willingness to sacrifice everything for his son, to defy the gods themselves to protect him, speaks to the transformative power of love. He learns that true strength lies not in brute force, but in the courage to confront one's demons, and to choose a different path, one paved with empathy, understanding, and forgiveness. Section 3. Kratos' Legacy, An Unforgettable Journey. Kratos' saga is more than just a tale of gods and monsters, of epic battles and world-ending prophecies. It's a story about the indomitable spirit of a man grappling with the weight of his past, seeking redemption in a world determined to remind him of his sins. Kratos' journey resonates with gamers because it reflects our own struggles with anger, with regret, and with the desire to forge a better path for ourselves and those we love. Kratos' legacy is not one of unbridled rage, but of transformation. He teaches us that redemption is a journey, not a destination, and that even the most broken of souls can find peace. He reminds us that family, in all its messy and complicated glory, is a force to be reckoned with, capable of both great destruction and profound healing. His story is a testament to the power of storytelling in video games. Through breathtaking visuals, visceral gameplay, and a narrative that delves into the depths of human emotion, Kratos' saga has captivated millions. He has become an icon, a symbol of the enduring appeal of the hero's journey, and a reminder that even in the darkest of times, hope can flourish. As we bid farewell to Kratos, we are left with a sense of profound respect for a character who has evolved from a one-dimensional embodiment of rage to a complex, deeply flawed, and ultimately sympathetic figure. His journey is a reminder that even gods can change, that redemption is possible for even the most hardened of hearts, and that the bonds of family can heal the deepest of wounds. Kratos' story will continue to resonate with gamers for years to come, a testament to the enduring power of great storytelling and the transformative potential of video games.